Good morning, everyone. Namo Buddhaya. How my voice okay or not? Can I think eat too much durian already. Sounds a bit. So I hope everyone is well rested after a very happening, very happy family fun fair last Sunday, right? Most of you, I think, were here. I can see all the smiling faces, happy faces. And yeah, so today we are going to have an appreciation after this. So friends, let us begin our learning for today as introduced by Brother Tong. Thank you, Brother Tong, for the introduction. And also we're going to start a new series of greed, hatred, and delusion. So during May 21st, I think Buddha Day Eve, Nalanda Buddhist Society introduced our theme for this year. Until next year, Buddha Day, we will be observing this theme, learning anything in relation to this theme. So it is peace begins with me. A peaceful mind brings forth a peaceful world.
Peace takes us to the highest happiness. Peace is best. Peace is the way.
Peace begins with me. So apologies for the technical error. Don't look so sad. All of you look so sad like that. Sometimes life is like that. Things happen, yeah. Certain things we want it to be in a certain way, but it does not happen. But we can smile despite that. It is like this. Life is like that, yeah. Right? So you all were peaceful or not just now when got technical error? Not peaceful, yeah. The face all like, huh? How come? So this is like that, peace. Very good example of peace. Peace begins with me. So it is a good time to actually explore within ourselves. How did I feel just now? Isn't it supposed to be perfect on a Sunday morning? Everything should go well, right? But things like that do happen, yeah? So when we talk of peace, when I ask you what is peace, what will you say to me? When somebody asks you, actually, what is this peace? Peace begins with me. What will you say? Some people will say, when I'm calm and quiet, I feel peaceful, right? Some will say when I don't have worry, I got freedom from worry, nobody annoy me, I'm peaceful, right? Correct? Then some will say, no stress lah, chill only. They want peaceful, right? Good? Boss don't scold me, peace lah. Then some people say, very secure, I feel secure, that is peaceful for me. Then some people say, when you go to a war-torn country, people will say to you, absence of war. If there is no war, if there is stability, that is peace for me, correct? Right? And some will say, when there is equity, everything is equal, everything is harmonious, everything is justice. I want justice. That is peace for me. So you can see everybody has a different interpretation of peace, right? Because according to their own circumstances, where you are at what time, at any point of time, even just now, a very short time, there's a lot of already dissonance within us. How come this thing is not working? I know the people at the back here, wow, what happened? Everybody is bothered now. But the Buddha was the only one who can hammer this nail right to the core. The Buddha gave us, what is this peace about? And the Buddha said, all these are actually our causes of our external peace. War, strife, stress, all these are the external causes of our conflicts. And the Buddha said, what is common to all human beings? All of us are human beings, yeah? All living beings. The Buddha said, when we avoid doing any kind of harm to oneself and to others, then That is happiness and peace. Very simple. The Buddha just very directly and very simply, the Buddha said, as long as you don't cause harm to yourself, you don't cause harm to others. When we don't cause harm to ourselves and we don't cause harm to others, that is going to be happiness. And when you're happy, you're peaceful, right? You can't be happy and not peaceful, right? Correct or not? Right? If you're happy, you are bound, but it's a very short thing. Yeah? And the physical and verbal, how does this harm come about? It is through our physical actions, right? And through our verbal actions. Then this results in disturbing the peace. Our verbal actions and our physical actions cause this kind of conflict, yeah? And it will cost our happiness. So one day, the Buddha was walking on alms round in the morning. The Buddha, after he finished his daily meditation, then he went for alms round. And he saw this group of boys. They were beating up a snake. And the Buddha stopped and asked them, no, what are you doing? Why are you beating the snake? And the boy said, we're trying to protect ourselves. We are scared this snake will harm us. The snake is just going along the road. And then they said this snake is going to harm us. And that's what we all do, right? I remember many years ago when I was probably a teenager, very big snake came into the house. I think it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. So we all were preparing to go to school, and my brother were preparing to go to work. And there was a big snake. It ran into the kitchen. It's a huge snake. And all of us, were very young, all screaming, shouting there, and then my brother, he took a spear, kind of a spear we had in the house, and they were all chasing. It was hiding under the cupboard there. Then he poked the fellow, and then the snake died. At that time, we all don't know Dhamma. So the snake died. And do you know he was short-lived after that? He was very short-lived, he had only a short life. He had passed away at around age 20 in a motorbike accident. And his wife had just delivered a baby, just a very small baby. So he had very short life. And the Buddha asked him, actually the snake is out. I don't know from where it came into the house, but if we had chased it away, it would have gone away. Now when we think of it, but at that time, because of the fear that we have, this fear of the snake, then we kill, then we all were very happy. Oh, now we are free from the snake, but we know there are many snakes out there, we didn't know. So the Buddha asked them, they said, oh, we want to protect ourselves. So they were beating up the snake. And the Buddha says, those who oppress others with violence, you oppress and you cause others harm through violence. He says, then as a result of that, you will not attain peace thereafter. The Buddha said, thereafter, hereafter, next life, you also won't have that same peace that being has suffered. This is what the Buddha said. So you see, the Buddha said, peace begins with us. In a way, the Buddha is saying peace really, really begins with us. Yeah. It is very, very easy to control our body. You all are going to sit here for the next hour or so. So about 2 hours, you all be sitting here. Can sit lah, no problem. If you want, you can go toilet and move. But your mind, 2 seconds already go out, right? Correct? Within 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the mind has traveled somewhere and come back again, go out and come back again, go out. Yeah, I can see all the faces smiling. Yeah, it's true. For 2 hours, the mind can go, the body can go to sleep already. Mind says sleep. Now is a good time. Weather outside very cool here. Aircon also very nice. Can sleep, but I can see all of you, whoever is sleeping. So the only way, sometimes it's because why the mind wanders is we don't know, or we don't have the tools to control this mind. And the Buddha said, to train the mind, that it stops wandering about, because the mind likes to wander, it likes to imagine. So if we can train and control this mind will become a very peaceful mind. So peace actually begins with us. So friends, Nalanda members, from the time Buddha Day until 7 weeks, we all have actually observed our Gimana. And during the seven weeks, we immersed ourselves in many Nalanda members and devotees. We observed Gimana. And during the Gimana, what did we do? We observed 5 daily practices: morning morning chanting. Then we also have doing a good deed for the day, reading a book or listening to a Dhamma talk, meditation, and also we close the night by our evening chanting and reflection. These are very important practices to root ourselves in order to make a personal commitment. So for the Gimana, we started a series, very first series in this that we started, which is the Peace Begins With Me series number 1, this Anupubbi Kata, that is the gradual discourse of the Buddha. So we are going to go in a series throughout this year. There'll be a series of talks in relation to Peace Begins With Me. So the first series was Anupubbi Kata, where we talked about different parts of the gradual discourse. When the Buddha started teaching, the Buddha started with the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. The first discourse of the Buddha was actually about the 4 Noble Truths. But he taught this to a group of ascetics who were already well trained and disciplined in mind and in body. They already know a lot of things. So the Buddha started with the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta on the 4 Noble Truths. But for those who are very new to the teachings, who are first time hearing or very new, who don't have constant practice, then the Buddha actually gave this gradual discourse where we can practice progressively. So the first of that is the Buddha started with dana, giving. Giving is a very important aspect of Buddhist practice. It's not easy to give. Before you learn Dhamma, were you generous or not? Very generous or not? No, right? Don't bluff me. I know you're not generous. I was not generous. So I tend to yardstick everybody with myself. It's true, Before we learn the Dhamma, when people ask us the things I give, we find very hard to give. We give lah, but sometimes very reluctantly, sometimes with a lot of unhappiness we give. Yeah, but after learning the Dhamma and learning about generosity and giving and the benefits of giving, then you see during the FFF, a lot of people were so generous, smiling, a hot weather, sweating away, but still very happy, very generous in giving their spirit. So dana is important. Then we learn about moral virtue, sila. Now, these two is very important. When we talk about peace, dana, we thought, what has peace got to do with dana and sila? Huh? What has it got to do with giving and moral virtue? But the Buddha said these two are the very important factors, because if you want to do mental cultivation, where greed, hatred, and delusion is very deeply embedded into our minds, this dana and sila is a very important foundation, because if you go and sit down and try to meditate without practicing giving, generosity, and without having virtuous conduct, the mind will produce all kind of stories for you. It will stir up all your unwholesome things that will keep bugging you. That's why people say, why I sit down, my thoughts, it comes, like a waterfall. You guys seen a waterfall? Yeah, you go to Wisdom Park. Every time we take the participants go and sit in the waterfall, and then you say, imagine your thoughts are like this waterfall. It keeps on coming and coming and coming again and again and again to disturb us. So these two are very, very important factors in learning about peace. Then the third thing we learn about, the Buddha always talk about, is Sagga. Everybody likes heaven, right? Who doesn't like heaven? Nobody put up the hand. That means you all like. So everybody likes to go, and one day we're all going to go from here, and we all want our destination to be heavenly. Want to go to heaven. Nobody wants to come back to earth also. Everybody likes to go to heaven. So the Buddha knew. So the Buddha talked about giving, and then morality, and then the Buddha talked about heavens. How to go to a heavenly place after you leave this place. Then the fourth, the Buddha again talked about the danger, the vanity, the disadvantages of sensual pleasure. We all like sensual pleasures. It's nothing wrong. Sensual pleasure, the Buddha said, is nothing wrong. But we have to look out for the dangers. Because sometimes excessive sensual desires will give us a lot of problems, will give us no peace in our life. Yeah. There was I think recently there was a case of uh, what do you call TikTok personality. He was very, very famous. But I think most of us, I don't know, maybe these TikTok people, young people all will know TikTok. So this guy, he was very successful, very famous apparently. And then he married a girl. And this girl was also very good looking. She was also successful. But because of his greed, his sensual desire, possessiveness, jealousy, she couldn't take it anymore. She like separated from him, but he couldn't take it. So one day he went to the house where she was with her friend, another guy, and then he just shot them point blank, just go there, shoot of them, both of them died. Point blank, and he said he killed her. And then he is waiting sentencing, life sentence, going to go for, because first degree murder, planned and executed. So the danger of these sensual pleasures, desire, possessing, fame. He was so famous, so successful, a lot of money, but yet he couldn't have peace. So learning about the dangers of sensual pleasures is also one of the way to peace. And then we also went and learned about renunciation. Slowly but surely, we renounce these sensual pleasures, little by little, not all at one time. Don't say, oh, cannot do this Buddhism, very thorough one, or everything cannot one, renounce. No, the Buddha didn't say so. The Buddha said gradual renunciation, but knowing the danger of sensual pleasures. Then the Buddha also talked about Four Noble Truths. Finally, only that the Buddha come to teach about the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, so in one of the what do you call that? There was a Brahmin by the name of Ganaka Mungalana. One day he went to the Buddha and he asked the Buddha, what is this gradual training about? No? Talking about gradual training, about gradual practice, and about gradual progress. What is this? Then the Buddha said, it's like it's very hard, when the Buddha said, when he asked, what is practice, what is progress, what is training, it's very hard to explain, right? So the Buddha gave in a form of a simile. The Buddha said, this training comes in a form of a simile, and he said it's like training a horse. A thoroughbred horse. You know what's a thoroughbred horse? A thoroughbred horse is not the chiplak horse one, not the normal type of horse, but this horse is a thoroughbred. That means the mother and the father are also thoroughbreds, specifically bred for, let's say, racing or for competitions or for all kinds of things that are very hard to do. So they are very thoroughbred horses. So the Buddha says you have to do it slowly. So in this parable, the Buddha gave in this sutta called the Badali Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya 65. Correct. My eyesight so bad. 65. So one day the Buddha was in the place called Savatthi in Jeta's Grove. So it was during the Vasa. Now, all our ordained monks and nuns are observing Vasa for 3 months, right? So it was in this kind of a season that the Buddha was staying in a place called Savatthi. So he spoke to the monks. He said, monks, I only take food once a day. By the way, today is also Uposatha. So many of you are observing Uposatha day. There's no dinner for you all today. Yeah? So the Buddha said the Buddha at that time only ate once a day. In the morning, he will have his food. But he said, I am healthy and well. And I am also living comfortably and I don't have any bodily problems. The Buddha has trained himself to eat only once a day. Can you all eat once a day? Thai law, so much of food, press, just order only. The man will come already. What they call? The fellow who sent, what his name? Food panda and all kind of grab, grab. All the food will come. But the Buddha said he only eat once a day because you must remember the Buddha go on alms round. He doesn't cook food. Nobody cooks food for him. So he only goes on alms round. So he said, so he told the monks, I think you all also can and should do these things. And after that, the Buddha made it a Vinaya rule. But there was a monk by the name of Badali. Yeah? This monk objected. He thought, you see, the Buddha so enlightened, everybody listened to him. No, it's not the case. Even at that time, there was this monk called Badali, and the monk objected. He said, Venerable Sir, he said, cannot. I will feel very uncomfortable. I don't think I can take eating one meal a day. I cannot. He said, he told the Buddha. And he objected. He said, no, I'm not going to follow this rule. Yeah, this Vinaya, I'm not going to follow. And so he went on like this. He was the only one who did not follow this Vinaya rule. And he did not see the Buddha after that. But it was near the end of the Vasa season, and the monks were all preparing the Shivara robe for the Buddha. Then his good friends are very important to us. So his good friend monk friend told to him, hey, Badali, Venerable Sir, please go and approach the Buddha, seek for forgiveness and get counsel from the Buddha. It's not good that a member of this community should behave in such a way. It is not good for you to do that, especially when the Blessed One has given this kind of a rule. It is not a peaceful thing for you to do. So Badali realized and he went to see the Buddha. And then the Buddha gave this discourse to Badali. He said, yes. So he said, at least Venerable Badali has realized that he has actually done something wrong. Sometimes we do wrong. We never accept one. Very hard for us to accept that we have done something not good. Yeah. So the Buddha says it's like a horse. You know the horse, how they train the thoroughbred horses. So there's a horse. The first thing you do is what do you do? How you train the horse? Beat the fella. What do you do? Or you give him corn to eat, make him very happy first. The first thing to do, pet. Oh, Sister Ovia say pet him. I say, my lovely darling. No. Actually, the first thing how they train the horse is, you see in the front of the horse's face, there's a bit. They call it a bit, B-I-T. They will slowly put the bit up the face of the horse. Then the horse will, like that, he'll make a lot of noise. He will reject. He doesn't like, because this thing is alien to him, foreign to him. He doesn't like it. So he will resist. But they will keep on doing this. They will keep on every day, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit more. They will just put it near his face. He doesn't like it. Then after some time, they'll put it again a little bit up. Until the time when they put, he doesn't resist. He's very happy. So learning Dharma is like this, no? We resist at first, or sit on the floor, 2 hours, chalat, or move. But some will sit, after some time of training, you see some will sit quietly, never move. 1 hour plus they can sit and listen. So it's like that. So they first put this one. Then after that, they put the back. They call the harness, where they put the horse, you'll connect it. They'll put the harness, they'll put the saddle. Then after that, they teach the horse how to walk. They don't walk. Then after that, he must know how to circle. Go around in circle. Then he must prance. Prance, he must like jump like that. Then he must gallop. So many steps. Then royal gait. Royal gait must stand up straight. The horse must be straight, and he must walk also got royal gait. You know how the king walks? Not sloppy, very mindful, very straight. I see coronation, you see how. Then speed. He must be taught how to go speed fast. And then not only speed, but gentle. Wow, go speed and gentle. How? This is how you train. Then after you do all this, then only, the horse gets grooming. Gives a nice wash. They groom the horse. They give him good food. You see, it's step by step they do. So the Buddha said in this training that we do, learning the Dhamma, it's not overnight we can be trained. It takes a very, very long time, the Buddha said. So once I was in school, when I was a small fellow at school, the teacher asked us, the class, students, is the seabed, seaside, is it very flat or sloping? Immediately I put up my hand. I don't know why I put up my hand. I seem to be too clever. This is actually a quite dumb fella. Then I said, teacher, it's flat, teacher. Actually, I've never been to, I mean, when you go to the seaside, it looks flat, right? Everything is nice and flat, right? So I said, flat, teacher. Then the teacher said, no, wrong. So it's like this, we don't know. When we are learning Dhamma, it's like that. Everything seems it is. So the Buddha said, when we put into practice what the Buddha has taught us in a progressive manner, then we will go on the path to liberation. Otherwise, we will always be in this circle. So the Buddha said in this sutta, the Buddha said, because just as a great ocean deepens gradually, you know, when you go to the seaside, actually it goes slowly, right? When you, after some time only, then I found out that actually, yeah, you go in, then your leg doesn't touch the bottom, right? Then you get worried, then you quickly swim back to the seaside, right? So it's like that. Just like the ocean goes very gradually, and then it inclines, not abruptly. You know, cliff is like that. You go flat, then boom, it goes down, right? But the Dhamma, when we learn, is very gradual. It slopes down slowly. Gradual training, gradual task is a gradual path. And it is not suddenly you listen to this talk today and then, wow, so tapan already. It's not like that. So it is a very slow process, yeah. And why do we study the Dhamma? Why do we practice the Dhamma? Because we want to get out of this circle of samsara that we are in, repeated births. Yesterday I was listening to a talk by Ajahn Brahm. So he says when he go to the funeral, he goes for funeral service, and then the people are very sad, you know, at funeral, people are very sad, right? Then they ask him, Venerable, why did my loved one die? Then he said, because they were born. Especially Buddhists, he only tells this to Buddhists because you're born. So you have to die. And this is the nature. You go around, you born, die again, born, die again, born, die again. This is the samsaric circle. So when we learn the Dhamma, there is a purpose for us to get out of this circle of samsaric existence. So friends, we come to our topic today, which is greed, hatred, and delusion. Now, greed, hatred, and delusion are mental qualities. These are mental, not physical. Physical is we can see. So in this second series, we are going to, first series was Anupubikata, or gradual discourse, where we learn slowly what the Buddha has, gradual path. But in this series, we are going to do a little bit more on greed, hatred, and delusion, which are mental states. Yeah. And today is just an introduction. For the next 8 weeks or so, we will be covering more deeply into this greed, hatred, and delusion in terms of many aspects of this. It's a very wide topic. So it's going to be an 8-week course, kind of a series. So please come and attend every week, every Sunday, so that you can learn more about this topic in our series, Peace Begins With Me. Yeah. So this unwholesome, greed, hatred, and delusion, is it a wholesome quality or unwholesome quality? Yeah, it is an unwholesome quality of the mind. And it is a range, you know. When we say greed, hatred, and delusion, it is just a word, 3 words. But it is a range, you know, from the very, what do you call that? Lesser or very intensive. It can be very mild, you know, and then it become very intensive. This greed, hatred, and delusion. And it can manifest also in our speech, in our action, very fine to very coarse. You know, some people, you bang the car, they come down, they start walloping you already. They don't talk first, they wallop you first. That is the very coarse manifestation of the anger within them. Have anybody experienced? People come only start waking you and don't talk because their car is the very new car. And then you knock into them, their whole heart gone already. My dream car gone already. Yeah. So I think a few weeks ago, so there was an incident of our friends also got, but luckily the people are even tempered. They know how to discuss about it. Yeah. So whatever the cause of suffering, it is these three are deeply, deeply embedded into our mind. Do you know that? You have greed or not? All very good. Huh? You have hatred or not? Delusion? Very big. Huh? All of us have to a certain degree. Maybe we have already eradicated some of the very harsh ones, but there are fine ones still within us. Huh? And these actually they are tainted, all this by ignorance. We are so ignorant. We just don't know what is happening in this world. Yeah. So these are motivated by these produces unwholesome results. So now let's look at what are the roots. Huh? So we know in the Sangiti Sutta, the Buddha was at a place called Hava. There's a group of people called the Mallas. Huh? And at that time, there was a Jain. There's a sect, a religious sect called Jains. Have you heard of these Jains? Not many have heard. Huh? So at that time, the leader of that group, Jains, had passed away. Now, he only passed away about 2 months or so. Already, the followers of that group were fighting among themselves. The ascetics were in that group were fighting with each other, quarreling, using harsh words, and blaming each other. And there was a lot of disturbance among this group, you know. So at that time, the Buddha was together with the monks in this place. So there was a night where there was a long day, you know. So the Buddha asked Venerable Shariputta. The Buddha said, Venerable, can you please continue with the Dhamma talk? I see all the monks are still awake. So please continue. I'm very tired. Huh? The Buddha also can be tired. Huh? Everybody thought the Buddha is sit there, very steady one, no get tired, don't need to lie down, nothing. But the Buddha at that time, he said he has a backache. So he said, I want to lie down, Venerable Sariputta. So can you please continue on with this teaching? And so Venerable Sariputta took over the teaching, yeah. And then he asked the monks, he said, you know why this group of people, they have a teacher with them, but why is it that now the teacher is gone, there is so much of quarreling, so much of fighting, so much of disturbance among this, there's no peace among them? Why is that so? And Venerable Sariputta explained, it's because the teacher is not an enlightened teacher. So when you have a teacher who is not enlightened, who doesn't know the entire range of reality of what is going on in this world, this existence, this is what will happen. Because he doesn't teach the full range, he only teaches the surface. So the Buddha then, Venerable Sariputta gave a very long discourse about 1, 2, 3 subject matters on 1 subject matter, on 2 subject matter, on 3. And so he thought about these 3 roots. In one of that section, he thought about these 3 roots of unwholesomeness. So we have the roots. And as you know, roots, when we see a tree, the root is very deep, right? It's very hard to push a tree over, right? Very, very difficult, especially if it's an old tree. So it is like this. Remember, within us are these kind of roots. The roots of greed, hatred, and delusion is very deep and sometimes hide, you know, it hides behind excuses, yeah. So there is this wholesome, unwholesome is called akusala in Pali, and we have unwholesome. So we have unwholesome and wholesome. So not all the time we are bad lah. Wow, Sister Paru always say greed, hatred, delusion. But we also have a good part in us. Otherwise, this world hancho already, you know, if we don't have the good part. All of us have good and bad in us. So let's look at the unwholesome. So the unwholesome is greed, hatred, and delusion. Loba, dosa, and moha. Then we have the wholesome, which is non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. So you all have non-greed or not? Just ask, greed God or not? Shake the head. And I say, non-greed God. All of us have non-greed. At certain time, we are very generous. Correct not? It's not that all the time we have greed or all the time we have non-greed. It's a mixture. It goes round and round and round. So you have non-hatred or not? God lah, you love your husband, your wife, your children, and non-hatred lah. You love them very much. And then you have non-delusion or not? Yeah, otherwise you all won't be here, sitting here on a Sunday morning. There is no delusion in you. That's why you take, you get up in the morning, you bathe, you change, you come here and you sit and listen. This is a quality of the wholesome, of non-delusion, not having greed for sleep. Oh, Sunday, it's my day of rest. I want to sleep, right? This is a form of a greed, but today you practice non-greed. You get up, no matter what, like a good Christian Buddhist. Christian all go church, wear nice shirt. You all wear white, all chiplakam. They all wear very nice high heel shoes and then they go and sit so nice, wear their Sunday best. They wear their Sunday best to go to church. So you all are Christian Buddhists, come here to center to learn. And we also have non-hatred. We have no aversion. He said, no, I will come, I will sit. I got option to sit. I will sit up straight, I will listen to the Dharma. So we have these two roots, wholesome roots and unwholesome roots. Yeah, these two we have. And how does it manifest? Because this is a mental quality, it manifests through body, wholesome. A greed can be manifested through our body, through our speech, and in our thoughts. Sometimes we are greed in our mind, right? Can you think of sometimes you have greed in our mind? Very hard to think now. Now the mind is very pure, Sister Paru. Cannot think one, all very good. Yeah. So these two, the greed and non-greed actually keeps us in balance. This is how the world is balanced. And nobody is all bad and nobody is all good. All of us have these roots. Some have a higher unwholesome, some have lower wholesome, some have high wholesome and lower unwholesome. It's all a balance and mixture on how and what the circumstances are. So the Buddha said that this samsara is very, very long. We have been wandering on, craving. And the Buddha said, it's like a dog. We have a dog in the house. I know nowadays nobody ties up their dog. Everybody puts the dog in the air-conditioned room, put them in the bed to sleep, have a nice couch, a big business now going on with dogs and cats. Yeah. But those days, you know what we do? We tie the dog to a leash. Your dog, tie one leash, one string and put one post, and then leave the dog there. So in the Gadula Sutta, the Buddha said, this we are like this dog. He didn't say we are the dog. He said like a dog. Don't misunderstand. He said, so like a dog, if you tie him to a leash, especially a very naughty dog, you know what? Especially fierce dog, you tie, then he will run in. He will bark, 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 bark. He will run around the leash, the post. You tie him to a post, then he will. Then after that, what he will do? He tie it ready. Then what he do? He sit down there. Sit, he'll sit. He'll sit sometime. And after that, he don't want to sit. He walk. He walk here, walk there. But he cannot, because he tied to a string, so he can really walk. After that, what you do? What's the next thing you will do? Lie down lah. Correct not? First he will walk, then he will sit, then he will walk, and then he will lie down. Lie down for a while. So we are all like this. So the Buddha said we are like this, like a dog like that on a leash. We will do all these kind of things. And then we will lie very close to the post. When the string, we will die because we are like this. We are always in our what do you call that? In our five senses. We are all existing within our five senses. So we don't go very far from our five senses. Like the dog, it will sit there, it will die down, it will walk, it will bark sometimes. So we are like that, always within these five senses. So the Buddha said in this sutta, the Buddha said, one should reflect upon one's own mind. we should go into our mind from time to time, and then we must reflect, do this reflection, is it? Because we are so long roaming and wandering in samsara, I said, for a very long time. This mind has been defiled by greed, by hatred, and by delusion. Mental defilements make beings impure. When we have this defilement, we become impure. We don't have any peace. Mental cleansing purifies them. So mental cleansing. So it is very important from time to time we reflect, what is my mind doing now? When you're sitting down or you're not doing something, or even when you're doing something or reading a book, actually the book is in front of you, but your mind is doing something else. Then you can stop and reflect. Actually, what is my mind doing now? Correct or not? You ever do this or not? Never pay attention to the mind. From today onwards, or now also can check, what is my mind doing? What is this Sister Paru teaching? A very boring one. When is she going to finish? Yeah, the mind can go on like this. Last time I also, when I first learned Dhamma, I was like, when this talk going to finish? Because I don't know much. But now I listen very attentively. So it's like this. The mind will create a lot of things. So the Buddha said, reflect upon your mind, because in this mind are these three unwholesome roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Yeah. So let's now look at some of the range. You know, the range. When we say greed, there is a range of greed. What is greed actually? You want to know, no? What is greed? There's a range of different aspects of greed. So it starts with liking, wishing, longing. It's like that. Sometimes we like something, then we wish, I wish I had this nice handbag. This, my friend got this beautiful handbag. I wish I have this handbag. 40,000, but I only got $4 in my pocket. How? Longing for it. Then it becomes fondness, affection. It's like that. Girlfriend, boyfriend, start with liking, then wishing, then fond, then affection. Then after that, desire come already. It becomes a little bit more darker. Then let's look at the next batch. Attachment and lust will come. Craving, passion, self-indulgence, indulging oneself, only taking care of oneself. Possessiveness. God not very possessive of our things. Once I asked some, she was quite a rich person. So one day I wanted to borrow one of her white saris for one of our functions. I wanted to borrow. She's actually got a lot, She refused, She said, no, I cannot give you anything. Any of mine cannot be given away. I'm not like, okay. So it's very hard, the possessiveness. Sometimes it's like, you got so much. It's not that I ask you to give it away. I just ask to lend. Also cannot one. I say, okay. Then avarice, excessive and extreme desire for wealth, fame, children. Some people crave, have many children. Cannot have one. You all terrible plus. One, kosong also got. Where that Charlie? Kosong. Some, one or two. Those days, how many we all have? 10, 6, 7. Now one also very difficult to have. But that is actually delusion. No? Better produce more, so more Buddhists can come and learn Dhamma. Otherwise, Dhamma disappear already. Yeah, we need people. Yeah. So this is a range of greed. It starts like that. Then let's look at the range of hatred. Hatred starts with what? Dislike. You see, the first one is like. When we have greed, we like, we wish, we long. But when we have hatred, we have dislike, aversion, disgust. You're revulsed. Is it yuck? I don't like this. Yeah. Resentment, grudge, evil. Sounds familiar? Very familiar. Sometimes. Then let's look at the next batch. Very vexed, irritable. Little things also you get very irritable. Anger and antagonism. Then wrath and vengefulness. This is going on now in the world, many places. I read the news today in London. They are having a lot of problems now. A lot of racial riots going on there because of many things are happening. And people, it's like this. First, Government say this can, that can. Now people all got venge, anger, burning cars, police cars, attacking the police. It starts like this. Very slowly, slowly this will come. Yeah. So now let's look at the range of delusion. Delusion begins with what? Foolishness. Very foolish, very dull one. And then confusion and not intelligent. The next one is ignorance of the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, the Buddha said, when you come into birth, you will go through all the whole thing again. When you are born, you will get old, you will get sick, and one day you will disappear. You will be separated from the things you like or the people you like. You will be joined with things or people you dislike and not getting what you like. This will go on and on and on. This is the not knowing the Four Noble Truths. Yeah. Then another range of delusion is prejudice, conceit, wrong views. There are a lot of people who says, how do I know I'm born after I die? One can prove to me. Sister Paru, can you prove to me that I'm born after I die? I'll be born? No. Who knows? I go to heaven and sing heavenly songs, sit on the cloud, sit on the rainbow. I never know. So people have this kind of wrong views, prejudice, or all the Indian people very lazy, or drink a lot of toddy. This is prejudice. Those days I always hear this. They say, Malay people very lazy. We say these kind of things. These are all prejudice. Actually, one or two people do, but we this one, the whole race. Ideological differences. Dogmatism. Dogmatism is you cannot explain things clearly. It's something go round and round like. And then fanaticism, believing in things fanatically. Just hold on to it. Whatever you say, you cannot. What he believes that it is a fanatics. A lot of fanatics are. That's why we have a lot of problems. So this is the range of delusion. Very dangerous. In fact, greed and hatred is not so dangerous as delusion. Delusion is the worst. In greed, you have delusion. In hatred, you have delusion. In delusion, you have greed and hatred. They call it three-rooted defilement. Delusion is three-rooted. Greed and hatred is two-rooted. They only have greed means they have delusion. Yeah, so it's a very dangerous. So again, another story. Have you heard of this model called Abby Choi? You never read newspaper. Very good, like you. Sister, you got to listen to this girl called Abby Choi. Oh, Abby Choi actually was a very famous model, Chinese model. She was an upcoming model, very pretty girl. And she's very kind and very generous, very successful. So she was so successful, she had a lot of property and she married this guy. Yeah. So this guy, after some time, they had children and then you know how it goes, they had their differences. So she divorced him after that. Now, after she divorced him, this man continued staying in the property which they owned together. But what happened is after some time, I don't know, due to something, she wanted to sell off that property. But the ex-husband was not happy. Whole family, the ex-husband's family, you know what they got together? They somehow kidnapped her. They took her to a place. Then they chopped her up into many pieces. And then they boiled the head in the pot, made soup of the head. You never read this case. Oh, you are clever people. Very good. I'm the naughty one. I read all these nonsense stories. I never heard that. Abichai, got here now. Now everybody shake head. That time Abichai get. So you see the intense greed and hatred and delusion in this family. She provided for them, she gave them a lot of, even though she divorced the husband, she actually gave him a lot of money. She was very caring. But because she wanted to sell one of the properties, they dislike and they chop her up. And until now, they cannot find some parts of the body. And some, imagine the head, boil in the soup. How deluded can you be? Can you do that? Can your heart do that? I don't think any of us in this room will have that kind of. There are people like this, my dear friends out there, who are so full of this greed, hatred, and delusion. So thick that when we read, it's like Are we in outer space? Are we really in the same planet as these people? It is so hard to, correct not? Very hard. No. I also say, really, got this type of people in this world. And then now the whole family, not only one fellow, no, father, mother, sister, don't know who, everybody go to jail now. Why? Just because of greed. It's crazy, right? Now all the taxpayer got to pay for their food. Not only greed, now you also got to pay for it, yeah? So friends, let's look at now, this greed, the characteristics of all these characteristics, how it functions, how it manifests, and what is the proximate cause. These are sometimes in Abhidhamma, they teach us this. So this greed is a state of lack. When we have greed, means we are lacking something, we want something, we need something, always seeking fulfillment and satisfaction. So in this case, Abby Choi's case, you see, they feel like they must have that property. It's impossible that she take away this property from us, So, and it is insatiable. When the greed is very high, it's cannot be satisfied, insatiable, cannot let go. Sometimes when husband and wife divorce, I cannot let go. Still divorce also, I still want to go and find and then shoot them and kill them and do all kinds of things. Many cases like this. No? So it cannot be satisfied. This is the state of greed. So let's look at what are its characteristics. Its characteristics is grasping. It holds on to something. I want this. I cannot let go. This is so precious to me. It's mine. It's me. So how to have peace like that? Every day, this is mine. This is me. You grasp on. There's no peace in your mind. It manifests like that. So how does it function? Like meat, you cook meat, next time you say, oh, this is greed. This is how greed looks like in a pot. Sometimes the meat, stuck one, very hard to clean the fellow, very hard to flip the fellow over. Greed is like that, no? The function is like this. It just sticks onto it. It doesn't let go. No? Now, how does it manifest? It manifests not giving up. Like dye, when you put dye into a white cloth, no matter what you do, the fellow don't come out there until the white cloth got hole already. You put so much of Clorox, got hole already. It just doesn't give up. This is how it manifests, very hard to give up. And its proximate cause is it sees enjoyment in things. Actually, it leads you to bondage. The more you crave, the more you desire, it's actually bonding you to suffering. There is no peace the more you crave for these things. So this is the proximate cause of greed. So you can understand greed a little better now. That doesn't give you peace. So let's look at hatred. Hatred has the characteristics of savageness, very savage, very cruel kind of a thing, It just does not have peace at all. Very savage, like a snake. You disturb, the head goes up, right? You want to pato you, like that. Very savage, Then it is, how does it function? Like poison, like forest fire. Forest fire, you can stop a forest fire. Very hard to stop, right? Very, very hard to stop a forest fire. You can pour water for days and days and days. It does not stop. It's like a forest, very hard to stop. So hatred is like that. When you hate somebody, you see that person also, you feel I want to check it, the fellow, right? And in this life, you don't even know this fellow. Sometimes you don't even know them. You see them only, you want to check it. Like, I want to check it. This fellow, I want to. Last time I have an uncle, I told you the story. My uncle, I see him only, I want to take knife and poke him like that. Yeah, I have this hatred in me towards this person. It's so, every time I see him, I will turn my back. I just don't want to look at him because so was my hatred in terms of its function. And then how does it manifest? When you wait, got chance only, then you persecute or you do something to that person. You wait for chance. This three sister laughing, got familiar, sounds familiar. So it is manifest like that. You wait for chance, then you go and sabo the fellow. Jadilah you. Then proximate cause come, annoyance, very annoyed. I hate my neighbor, so noisy one. Every day on the radio one, the Tamil song until my ear so sakit, I don't know what. Five five doors away, I can hear the music boom, 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 the whole day, annoyed like hell, hatred. Yeah, there was a neighbor last time. The neighbor play music. You know how a house wall is just one brick, right? The neighbor play, he go and take knife and go and ask the children, you come out, I want to poke you now. He said, yeah. And they have to pull him back. My husband have to go and, hey, cannot do that. He's so annoyed, he just cannot stand, annoyed like hell. Until he cannot think he want to go and poke the children. The poor fellow sold his house and ran away. Yeah, the neighbor just cannot take it anymore because his children are small. They're hardly in the house. The children are left alone. He was very scared for them. He literally sold the house and he went off. I don't know where he went. So you see, hatred can be this kind of disturbing the peace. Yeah? Delusion. Let's look at delusion. Unknowing. Basically, you don't know. When you do things, you really don't know. Before we learn Dhamma, we do a lot of these nonsensical things, right? We don't know one. Because we thought, I live in this world, I'm entitled to this. As you don't know anything, but still you behave as though you know everything. Yeah. So this is the blindness or unknowingness of delusion. Non-penetration of the true nature of an object. Because when we don't know that in this body, it's just made up of elements, and this mind is a mind that travels from body to body to body. If you understand the true nature of our existence in the world, we will get really tired, tired. So tired of all that is going on. Then we'll slowly become virtuous. We let go of our desires. Then we become more contented. We renounce certain things. And that is why when people are tired, people go and become monk and nuns. It's not because they lost their girlfriend or boyfriend, like what I thought last time. I thought people become monk and nun because why? Because in the cinema they say like that one. Correct not? You watch movie, you see Living also shake head. I agree with me. Because in the movie, that's how they corrupt us. They tell us, oh, girlfriend run away, then he very sad, then he become monk. So I also think like that. Actually, after learning the Dhamma, then I realized, hey, it's not so. It's because people are tired. They're just so tired of samsara. They say, that's it. Okay, I'm going to go and find. And that's where the Buddha give us this knowledge of the Dhamma for us to learn. How wonderful, right? You're not tired. Oh, very good. I can go on some. Okay, let's go. Okay, next. A kind of a darkness. We have wrong views, like just now. How it manifests because we have wrong views. Then we keep on doing. You think you kill a person, you can go free. Police will let you go. Never mind, you go home. God, no such thing, right? You kill, you go jail, right? You steal, you go to jail, right? You commit sexual misconduct, you go to jail, right? Then what the hell you think you kill people for? Because greed lah, hatred, you don't know. This is a kind of a darkness that you don't know, that in that moment, that fury, that desire you create, after that only, they say, regret in leisure. Because now you got the whole life to go and sit in the jail and regret what you did on. Why I do all these things? Yeah. And the cause of delusion is unwise attention. Now we all have wise attention. You're paying attention to the teachings. So this is one of the ways we can get rid of our delusion. It's a kind of a helplessness. Sometimes actually people are helpless, they don't know. So if we can provide Dhamma education, we are doing a service for our humanity. Brother Chanchiwo, carry the monks' things, get up Sunday morning, Saturday morning, doing all these things, getting programs organized, fun fair, months and months, weeks and weeks of effort given by everybody. It means you give this gift of the Dhamma to so many people who can release themselves, who find that they can live in peace with each other, happiness to others. You only thought you are walking up and down, doing things, and go up the staircase, put thing here, carry this thing there. We thought we're just doing. Actually, what we are doing is we are helping others to get wise, to be to learn the Dhamma, so that they also can bring this beautiful presence of themselves to others. You like, right, when people are peaceful around you. You like angry people around you or not? You like hateful people around you or not? You like people to be happy, right? So nice to be around happy people, right? So joyful. So it is very important that these three unwholesome roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, they cause a lot of inner disharmony inside us. There is so much of disharmony within us. We are fighting within ourselves. And then when we fight among ourselves, inside ourselves, the worst is we also cause outer disharmony. To have peace. Good? Time's up already. Now I will go on more. Nature of greed, I had to go a little bit faster now. So we want to know, now we know about greed, hatred, and delusion. How about non-greed? Nice to know about non-greed, right? Yeah, every day cruel, cruel, cruel. Yeah, let's talk about now we talk about non-greed. How it is when we have non-greed. So first is, it is a condition for giving, opposes the state of stinginess. Correct or not? When you don't have greed, you give, right? Really, right? When you don't have greed in your mind, you're very generous. You just give. You should give us so happy. But don't give away your house after you got no house to stay. Yeah? You give. When you give more, you're more happy. This mental state of non-greed, when you have this mental state, it's so light, it's so much of happiness, there's so much of peace. Because you just give, right? And then you give, you're so happy. So wonderful. You see, everybody's smiling. Wow, so nice. Yeah. And then another nature of non-greed, whatever is attractive, it doesn't seem attractive. For a person who doesn't have greed, a person who is non-greed, those things are very attractive to other people. For the one who's wise, okay lah, boleh lah, nice, nice, nice. We don't say bad, cannot. No, we don't say like that. It's, yeah, nice, it's good. But it doesn't, we're not attracted by it. We don't overrate it, over everything else until become crazy. Now in the Western society, they say man can become woman. They confused already now. Don't know man or woman, don't know who. Yesterday I went coffee, cut hair. I was going to the hairdresser. Then I went to the shop. I asked, they want man or woman? I asked my son, say, quiet, quiet, don't say anything. I only asked, I said, I want to know whether that is, because I was not sure. He said, quiet, don't say anything. Okay, so drink your coffee, don't make noise. Okay. The third one is, we'll admit, sometimes we have a fault within us. We admit. Wise person, we got a lot of faults. We've made mistakes. We will admit it. Yes, I did make that mistake. Forgive me. I'm so sorry, my dear. I did this mistake. Please forgive me. God or not? God ask or not? Some more going scold that fellow. You say I like that? Bad, How come? You go and some more roll the eyes. Admit. But a person who is wise will behave and he say, yes, I made that mistake. And then the fourth thing is, when occasion arises where we are separated from a loved one or something that we desire, we do not suffer because we don't have this greed in us. We know it's the nature of life. If a loved one dies and goes away, we don't suffer anymore. We don't have this greed. I have a brother who died of greed, grieving for his daughter. He was so sad the daughter passed away. Until he died, he has so much of greed for her. He suffer and he suffer and he suffer. Every day he suffers. Just looking at the daughter's photograph like that. She gone already, don't know where she go. When my husband died and I look at his photograph, I said, thank you for dying. Bye-bye. You know why? Because when he died, I learned Dhamma. And then I became free. It freed me. Then I understood, oh, this is why people die. They get sick, they get old. He got very sick and died. And that's what the Buddha said. It true lah, the Buddha said. So then I realized, I said, bye-bye. I got no more suffering. You know, 20 years already has gone. Sometimes I think of him. Sometimes I transfer merits to him. Sometimes I wish him well, but I don't cling to him like my brother. Classic, classic, classic. Oh, fantastic greed you have. Okay. So we don't, a person who want non-greed, we say, okay lah, bye-bye. Next life, don't meet me again. I don't want to see you. I tell my husband, don't come and disturb me. I want to go away from this. If I ever see you, don't come. So does not encounter the suffering of loss, and there's equanimity. This is the nature of non-greed, and make a peaceful life. Correct? And then we never get born in the lower rounds of existence. Correct? Yeah. So this is the non-greed. A person who is non-mind, a non-greed mind, these are the characteristics. What about non-hatred? Want to know? Okay. Virtue. When we want to practice a 5 precept, first time here, many people hear 5 precept. What? I cannot drink. What? I cannot have many girlfriends. Sorry. I don't want to practice already. This is the virtue of having non-hatred, because we know that whatever we do, it is for the benefit of oneself and for others. So this opposes the state of immorality. Number 2, it does not underrate or depreciate and unobstructive. We don't hate. Sometimes we just hate things, then we will say bad things. But when we have a wise mind of non-hatred, we just see it as it is. Like my son was asking me, what happens? Because a lot of now in America, especially abortion rights are being discussed now. What happens if a mother has a baby who is deformed? Nowadays, doctor all very clever, very early on, they can tell you already, hey, your baby got some problem. Correct? And then what they do, they abort the baby. So how, mommy? He asked me. I say, when the time come, I will tell you. No lah, I tell him, that's the nature of life, Sometimes people make decision. It doesn't mean they are bad people, yeah. So sometimes it is like this. We have to go according to situation. Sometimes we have to do certain things and we have to take responsibility for it, yeah. So we don't underrate or depreciate something, yeah. The third is, if we have a fault, we admit, yeah. Oh, sorry. This one is a virtue. You all got admit your virtue or not? To yourself. You don't go at that. Sister Paru, I so good, I work, I serve so much. You don't tell that to yourself. If you have a good virtue, you have to think about it. No? Yeah. I practice my precepts every day. Very well done, Sister Paru. Oh, very good of you. You have to admit you have a virtue, and then you behave accordingly. Does not have suffering. If you are with people you don't like, you don't suffer. You just see, actually that person has a lot of suffering. That's why they behave in that way. Like my son was working in a company and he got a very terrible boss. Then every day he'll complain to me. I said, actually, he's a blessing for you, He's actually testing your patience. So every day I must be patient. I love you, metta. You practice lah, darling. Every day you watch his anger and you see actually maybe this person got nobody loving him at this time. Maybe he's dried of love. He doesn't have any love in his life. Maybe his life is very terrible. He goes home, he got nobody to give him a hug and a kiss and say, welcome home. There's loneliness in the house. Maybe you never know. Why don't you be that loving friend to him? So actually, when we have this unbeloved person, then the wise person, the one without non-hatred, will not have any suffering on, because they can only see there's no peace in the other person. But within me, I have peace. So I will love this person no matter what. And then we have understanding that all these are part and process. We don't hate aging. Every day look in the mirror. Are you 30 years already? Then start looking. Before that, never look at mirror. Look lah, but makeup mana. After that, really go close. we are urging how call the plastic surgeon already. But we understand that we will grow old. I can understand my body is getting sick. Yesterday, I go and wash hair. When I come up, the girl say, okay, auntie, finish your hair wash already. I wake up, boom, already swimming. Then I told the girl, you wait first, So I have to wait. And I know, hey, there's something going on in my body. It's aging. And then I tell myself, it's nothing to be excited about or very sad about. She says, soon you will go, Sister Paru. It's okay. So you're not disturbed by all this aging and this kind of illness that comes to us. It's part and parcel of life. That's how it will be. So if you have non-hatred, you can accept these kind of things. Then you have a peaceful life, and of course, you will not go to any of the lower existences. Last one, delusion. This is a condition. Non-delusion is a condition for mental cultivation. An undeveloped mind and uncultivated mind will have a lot of delusion. A cultivated mind will have non-delusion. And then understand the view of things. What is going on? Right view, having right view, admit facts as they are and behave. If you have done mistake, if you have done something wrong, if you have done something that you shouldn't do, you admit the fact. You know, many people, they kill, they steal, but they won't admit, no, people got witness, but they still say, no, I didn't kill one. They go to court and argue, got lawyers some more to argue for them one. And then all the judge have to listen and the court case will be going on and on and on and on. And this is what happens in the world, no? So the person who is wise will understand without delusion. Does not have suffering of not one get wishes. We all have a lot of wishes. If we don't get the wish, those days my wish was what, you all want to know what was my wish was? In my deluded state. my deluded state, I say, one day I want to have a red Mercedes Benz with a open air, or driving in the wind, the air. My hair so short now, the wind also blow, no difference on. And that was what my wish, those days. But I never got it, but it's okay. It's in my dream. Now I said, bye-bye. And then now I realize it's so hot. What for open air one? So you see how much of delusion we have. Those days, never. I laugh at myself with it. And then, of course, we know deluded the process of and dying. When our loved one dies, we suffer a lot, not understanding what is happening. Yeah. So when we have non-delusion, we understand exactly what is happening and we let go. We let go. It's okay. Yeah. We might meet again someday. We might never meet, but it's okay. Yeah. And then we, of course, we have a peaceful life and then we never go to a down realm of existence. So friends, the Dhammapada verse 2.5, the Buddha said, there was this Buddha was staying in a Jatawana Grove. He was giving a Dhamma talk. And there were these 5 lay disciples listening to the Dhamma. No? So after the Dhamma talk was over, Venerable Sariputta, I think, Venerable Ananda asked, did you notice these 5 people who were sitting, they are friends, they are a group of friends, So, yeah, the Buddha said, so one of them, out of the 5, the first one was asleep, sleeping already. Dhamma talk going on, he sleep already. The second one was, because outdoor, he was sitting near a tree. He started shaking the tree, shake the tree, try to shake the tree. Then the third one was scratching the floor, They don't have carpet, those days, they sit in the floor. So he was scratching the earth, And then the other one was looking at the sky. Only one was paying attention. So the Buddha said, in the past lives, these fellows got different, what do you call, personalities. That's why they keep on over lifetimes. They are like that one. They will manifest this character in successive lives. So the Buddha said, there is no fire like passion. When you're passionate, it's like a fire. And when there is a ill will, it grips you, holds tight. And then there's no net like ignorance. The fish, when they catch the fish, you think the fish can escape. It's caught in that net of ignorance. The bird is caught in the net. We all are like this, we are caught. The Buddha said very few can actually fly away. And then There's no river like craving. Dear friends, when we are greed, hatred, and delusion, this is what happens to us. It's like a river that flows, never stops. So understanding these three prevent us actually from knowing the Dhamma. It prevents us, yeah. So friends in the Dhamma, I hope this short talk on greed, hatred, and delusion has helped us to understand ourselves and others, and let us further our progress on the path to wisdom and happiness. Namo Buddhaya.